Yeah, not good news at all. A Florida beachfront condo collapsed. 12-story beachfront on Collins Avenue in Miami Beach collapsed. One person confirmed dead. More than 99 people are missing. Perhaps many of them could possibly be injured or dead as well. It collapsed in the middle of the night at 1:30 a.m. There were residents there, owners, there were renters there who were renting from the owners. Nobody knows for sure how many people were sleeping in the building when it collapsed. This isn't an upscale neighborhood, right, Vanessa? And you're down there in Miami. It's an upscale neighborhood. This building was built in 1982. It's not even 40 years old yet. So it's new construction relatively, not old construction from hundreds of years ago. It's new construction, built modern. Buildings like that don't collapse out of nowhere. Now, Governor Ron DeSantis, who toured the scene, said television did not capture the scale of what happened. He said rescue crews are doing everything they can to save lives. That is ongoing. They're not going to rest. Authorities did not say what may have caused the collapse. On video footage captured from nearby, the center of the building appeared to fall first. The center of the building fell. That just doesn't happen by accident. Buildings don't collapse in America by accident, at least not in my lifetime. The only times buildings have collapsed in my lifetime in America is when it was done intentionally. I'm not saying it's terrorism, but I have not seen a building collapse in my lifetime in America. I'm 52 years old. A modern building. You know, you've seen some buildings collapse because there was a, explosion from a gas heater or something like that. So there was some explosions, but this was not an explosion where there was like a gas explosion or a gas leak. This was just a collapse. They said they were doing work on the roof, but doing work on a roof doesn't collapse a building. It's less than 40 years old, this building. Modern construction. This is modern construction, and these condos were going from anywhere from 500,000 to $1 million plus. These are expensive condominiums. It just doesn't collapse like that. First of all, I feel terrible. Imagine you're just sleeping, that's the end of your life. 1:30 in the morning, you're fast asleep, that's the end of your life. Building collapses, you're done. We don't know how many people are ultimately going to be dead, but there's got to be more than one. All right, there's 99 missing and maybe more. Who knows? Nobody knows how many people were in that building. Right now, there's a claim of 99 people missing. And remember what happened in 9/11. Okay, when you were missing in 9/11 and the building collapsed, they didn't find you. So I wouldn't be surprised, sadly, very sadly, that the number of deaths are going to rise over 100 people here. There's 130 units in the building. Who knows how many people were in each unit, how many were occupied at that time? It's 1:30 in the morning. Everyone's sleeping. We're getting ready for bed. We're watching late night television. And the building collapses. Modern building. Just doesn't happen like that in America. Not by accident.
Foul construction, lack of engineering, a lot of...
No, I'm sorry. No. This building stood up for 40 years. No.
So all right? What is...
I don't have an answer. All I know is, I don't know. All I can tell you is, from my experience, a building does not collapse from the inside by accident. Just my opinion. I hope I'm wrong. Or maybe I shouldn't be wrong. I don't know. Because if I'm wrong, that means we got to start checking all our buildings. Are other buildings going to collapse that were built in this area at this time with this material? I think maybe that would be scarier. At least if it was done intentional, we know our other buildings are safe. I don't know what to say. You would say, okay, well, maybe you're better off if it was accident. Maybe you're better off if it was intentional. I don't even know what the right answer is. All I can tell you is there's going to be over 100 people dead. The tower is a mix of seasonal year-round residents. Argentine consulate in Miami said 9 people are missing from Argentina who are living in that building. The sister of the First Lady of Paraguay, Silvana Lopez Morea, is among those who are unaccounted for, as is her husband, 3 children, and a worker accompanying the family. Now, every 40 years, buildings have to go through a recertification process in Miami Beach. So the building was in the process of being recertified by engineers for safety. And according to news reports, as that recertification process was going along, Nobody raised any red flags that there was any problem with the building. I mean, this is modern construction in multi-million-dollar condominiums that was built in recent times. 1981 for construction is recent modern building. It doesn't collapse like that. Not out of nowhere. I'm just telling you, I don't want to say sabotage. I don't want to say terrorism. I don't want to say it was intentional. I just want to say I would be very surprised if it wasn't, because stuff like this doesn't happen. Yesterday, President Biden announced a range of actions targeting rising gun violence. Homicide rates have jumped, and Republicans blame him for it. But Biden began his remarks by saying the rise in violent crime dates back to last year before he took office. He said it spiked since the start of the pandemic over a year ago. Crime historically rises during the summer. I'll tell you also, crime historically rises when people don't have jobs and money, when people have nothing to do and they're sitting around. Crime rises. That's why summer, people are outside, crime rises. Now, he laid out a comprehensive strategy that's going to target law-breaking gun dealers, provide federal resources to police departments for gun crime enforcement, allow communities to repurpose millions of dollars of federal coronavirus relief. The reality is, for crime in America, it's going to be, if crime's going to come under control, it's not going to be because of the federal government. It's not going to be because of Biden. It's going to be because of what happens in the local communities. Will the local communities trust police? Will police follow the rules and the laws? You know, that's where we're at. You know, you get a confluence of people out of work, people home in a pandemic, out of control gun sales, people not trusting the police not wanting to police anymore. I don't think it's a Biden problem. I think it's a local problem. I'm not sure there's solutions right now. Maybe incremental solutions. I don't know.
Yeah, when you put all of those together, it doesn't seem to work very well.
Yeah. Meanwhile, according to industry and government data, gun sales in the United States reached a record level last year, with the biggest increase in background checks for firearms overlapping with months of social and political unrest, according to the Small Arms Analytics, a consulting firm based in Greenville, South Carolina. Firearms background checks show nearly 23 million guns were purchased in 2020. 23 million new guns out on the streets. That is absurd. 23 million guns. And by the way, when you say, you know, the violence in New York, for example, it's almost impossible to buy a gun in New York, but you can go across the river and buy a gun in New Jersey much easier. You can go down south and bring all the guns you want into New York City.
This is 23 million guns that were documented, correct? Because I know a lot of people who get guns just out of someone's trunk of the car as well.
That is right.
These if they don't have the license and whatnot.
I'm not saying there's 23 million guns on the street. What I'm saying is there was 23 million new guns purchased 2020. On top of all the illegal guns, on top of all the existing legal guns.
Sheesh.
It's a lot of freaking guns.
That's a lot.
It's a lot of freaking guns. Now, a record number of Georgia residents got firearms in 2020. Almost 1 million people bought a gun last year in Georgia. In Michigan, January background checks increased 155%. New Jersey, over 240%. Now, customers are increasingly diverse. Surveys last year found 58% increase of African-American gun buyers. So it's everybody. Minorities, Caucasians, Hispanics, Asians, everybody. 40% of gun buyers in 2020 purchased a firearm for the first time. You know who doesn't own a gun? I don't own a gun. I never want to own a gun. I don't want to know anything about a gun. I'm against guns. To me, whatever joy you get out of hunting Bambi is outweighed by the violence it causes. I don't want to live in a society where I have to defend myself with a gun. So I will walk around without a gun.
Right.
A former NRA president was tricked into speaking at a fake high school graduation. You hear about this, guys? In June 4th, on a speech to the James Madison Academy 2021 graduating class, David Keene, a former NRA president, current board member of the gun rights group, called on the teens to fight those looking to implement tighter gun restrictions. Now, unknowingly, Keene was actually addressing thousands of empty chairs set up to represent the estimated 3,044 kids who should have graduated high school this year and instead were killed by gun violence. Change the Ref, an organization founded by Manuel and Patricia Oliver, whose son Joaquin Guac was killed in 2018 at a Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, held a fake high school graduation for what they called the lost class of students. They invited Keene and John Lott, an author and gun rights activist, to give remarks to a high school graduating class and filmed what they were told was a rehearsal in a stadium of empty chairs. Ironically, had the men conducted a proper background check on the school, they would have realized the school doesn't exist, it's fake. But after filming, Keene and Lott were told the graduation was canceled because of a credible threat of violence and were not informed before the videos were released yesterday that the event was actually fake. The stunt was designed to highlight how powerful gun advocates speak. Manuel Oliver told BuzzFeed News, "These guys are part of the problem. We need to call them out. We need to show everyone this is how they process the logic behind the gun industry." In the videos released yesterday, Lott and Keene's graduation speeches calling for gun rights protections and talks about James Madison, the founding father who proposed the Second Amendment, are interspersed with audio from 9/11 calls about school shootings and the sound of gunfire. So a Dutch replica of the biblical animal rescuing ark has been held in the United Kingdom for 19 months. Some guy built the replica of the Noah's Ark because he thought the world was coming to an end. Except the problem is the UK won't let him put it out in water because it's not seaworthy. The 230-foot-long floating boat made a rare trip out of Holland in November 2019 to dock in Orwell Quay in Ipswich, where it was impounded by Coast Guard officers who refused to let it sail away, according to official documents obtained by the Ipswich Star. "We do have concerns about this vessel. We cannot rely on the grace of God that it can be safely towed back to Holland." They cited the $3.7 million ark being 61 years old, as well as lacking necessary certificates and information about its weight and stability. The ark's owner, Dutch TV producer Ad Peters, said the vessel has been permitted to make previous trips because it is a non-certified floating object not required to comply with international regulations. It's a floating object. It's really not a boat. Noah's Ark is a floating object. So the guy built Noah's Ark. Problem is, it's not seaworthy. Poor animals will all go down like the Titanic in that thing. A painting by rock icon David Bowie is expected to sell for thousands of dollars in an online art auction after someone picked it up for a few bucks at a donation center at an Ontario landfill. The portrait, titled D-Head XL V1, is part of a series of approximately 47 works that David Bowie created between 95 and 97. The piece was Bowie's distinctive signature on the back of a 9-by-8-inch canvas, along with a tag that is his name, the date 1997, and the description of the paintings as acrylic and computer collage on campus. So the guy picked it up for $5, but now he's going to be able to sell it for an estimated $12,000 US. Not a bad investment.
A come up. That's definitely a come up.
Yeah.
That's a serious treasure hunt.
That is a treasure hunt. Did you ever do that? Like buy something and it like became worth like a lot?
No, because why would you ever get...
I haven't, but like I always think about like my family. I feel like my family probably has stuff that they just picked up, somewhere, and it's worth a lot. So, and because we have a lot of storage, so I know that. I don't know if it's a David Bowie picture or anything, but I'm pretty sure we have something that could be pretty historic.
You ever watch that show on PBS, Roadshow, where like the guy like finds like my grandpa handed me this Civil War relic. I've had it in my family on the shelf, and my mom said it was valuable, but I have no idea. And then they all of a sudden they're like, "Hey, it's worth $50,000." Click, you're like, "Woo!" I love that show.
I actually love that show. I remember the last one I saw, it was this lady. She just brought out this old mirror. It looked really dope, but then found out that it was a queen from like hundreds of years ago. And I'm like, how the heck did they even find out that it was that? But like they research and they study and all that, but it found out it was a queen's mirror from like hundreds of years ago. And she was just like, it was just in my mom's desk. I didn't know. I'm like, what?
And you want to know what? I was just telling my friend the other day, I said, my grandfather, I said, he never left me any antique mirror or anything. I'm so mad at him. My friend said to me, "What, are you out of your mind? He left you a law firm, Smart Bernstein. What are you complaining about, right?"
Right. I think that's an even trade.
It was an even trade, although, I built it up, but it's okay. All right, he still gave me something, right?
You're right.
Southeastern Australian region is being blanketed in spider webs following severe flooding in the region. The spooky images were first shared to Reddit, but have since gone viral across the web. If the floods weren't enough, I give you spider apocalypse, wrote the user on the picture, which shows spider webs covering a field in Victoria, Australia. The haunting webs appeared following torrential rainfalls and powerful winds that resulted in several deaths and forced thousands to evacuate. That's a lot of spiders there.
I don't play with spiders. I would not
be anywhere near there. That seems to be a place I would not want to live. It seems like there's a lot of spiders in that area. I don't think I want to live there. Would you want to live there?
Just thinking about it, I'm starting to itch.
There's a lot of spiders in Australia. I'm not sure if I want to go anymore. Now, Ken Walker, an entomologist at the Melbourne Museum, told the Guardian newspaper it's a semi-regular occurrence in Victoria, Australia in wintertime. When we get most of our rain, spiders can make a wide range of different silks for this behavior called ballooning. They use a very, very thin silk, a fly away from the breeze. Yo-Yo and Vanessa, I will not be going to Victoria, Australia anytime soon. I don't want to go anywhere
near those spiders. Brad, you don't have to worry about it because I ain't going either.
I don't want to go anywhere near those spiders. Thanks for watching. For more Brad Show Live, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.